So athletes are very paranoid about taking in supplements that might have contaminants in it, because if you're found with a contaminant in your system, even if you didn't put it there intentionally, you get a ban. Okay, so it's taken very seriously. So I used Shaklee all through my career. I went to 12 world championships. I won Pan Americans 3 different times. It was actually interesting. Ishmael remembers me. I didn't know him as well when I was competing, but he remembers me because I was the big athlete to beat. For a number of years, I won Pan Americans 3 times in a row, and I was the very famous American who was beating everybody, and now Ishmael is the best athlete in this hemisphere, so it's been very interesting working with him. But anyway, I competed in 2008 in the pentathlon. I got up as high as 2nd in the world in my sport, and then in 2011, I partnered with Shaklee to create Pure Performance, and this was based on this idea that athletes need these incredible products that they can trust and that they can take. And it took off like wildfire. In 2012, we had 17 athletes who won 7 medals at the Olympics. 2014, the Winter Olympics, we had 25 athletes who won 10 medals. And in the last Olympics in Rio, I think it says it up here, we had 37 athletes who won 16 medals. And for the first time, we had a contingent of international athletes. And a lot of times, before I talk a little bit more about Ishmael, people ask, do our athletes actually use these products? And the answer is yeah. Last year, our athletes consumed over $350,000 of Shaklee products. They're integrated all the way through the system. In the U.S. market, we have the life strips, which I know aren't available down here. But part of the reason why Vivex was included in that was because our athletes were taking Vivex, which was originally an anti-aging product, and they were seeing great benefit. And that's a lot of what the athletes show, is that you can't fool these athletes. They know what works, they know what doesn't. They know that Shaklee products work. That's why they use our products all the time, whether it's the sunscreen or the multivitamins or the protein or the sports drink. They use tons of our products. And they know that they're safe because they take them when they know they're going to be drug tested. As an Olympic athlete, your reputation is the #1 thing you have. That's it. And it is the worst thing you can have to get a drug violation. It's really devastating. And so that athletes are very careful. They're careful when they travel about what they eat. They're careful about the products they take. And again, supplements are very scary for most athletes. So I'll talk a little bit about Ishmael. I did meet him a number of years ago when he was a younger athlete. He was coming up through the ranks, sort of when I was peaking at my best in around 2008 timeframe. And when we decided this year, when Mexico was doing a relaunch, which happened, when was the relaunch? It was last summer? September. And I talked to Beatriz. Beatriz had contacted me maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and said, I need some Spanish-speaking athletes. And so we went to all of our athletes, and we had maybe 55 athletes at the time. And I said, who here speaks Spanish? No one. And she said, we really want to support our Latin markets, and we're looking at the relaunch in Mexico and stuff like this. So Pure Performance spread into Mexico just like it spread in the U.S. It was just personal contacts. I've known Ishmael, he'd been coming up to Colorado where I live and training there, so I was going out running and swimming with him and stuff like that, and I said, Ishmael, we have a great opportunity for you to be part of Shaklee because Shaklee is relaunching in Mexico. And I started giving him products, and I remember in April, we were at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, and Ishmael and Nathan Scrimshire, who's an American pentathlete, went to the Olympics in Rio in pentathlon, and I were sitting there having lunch, and Ishmael, I'd been giving him life strips from the US market, and he was telling Nathan, who he was competing with at the Olympics, he's like, you have to take the life strips. They make you feel amazing, and he had started using all these products, and so over the course of last year, Ishmael got very integrated into the Shaklee system, and he's been using a ton of products and stuff like that. In August, I was the TV broadcaster for the United States for the pentathlon, and it was really one of the high points of that experience to watch Ishmael run his way on the very last lap into a bronze medal. It was one of the last days of the Olympics, and he was one of only 5 Mexican athletes to win a medal in the Olympics. And he gives Shackley a great amount of credit. Have any of you heard him speak yet down here? A number of you. He's great. And this is also a testament to the type of athletes who use Shackley. Ishmael was just accepted into the Duke MBA program. It's one of the top 10 MBA programs in the country, maybe in the world. Okay, so he's very smart. He's obviously a very good athlete, and he uses Shackley every day. But more importantly than that, I've been working with Ishmael, and he's expanding, big time down here in Mexico. His family is opening, what do you call those storefronts? Nutrition center. He was telling me the other day, I had a call with him the other day, and he was telling me, I'm opening a nutrition center in my hometown. And he's given Shackley products now to probably 10 or 12 of the top Mexican athletes that he knows from the Olympic Training Center in Mexico City. And they're using it. And I said, how do they like it? He said they can feel a big difference using Shackley. So as we go forward, I've been working with the leadership in Pleasanton, the leadership in Mexico City, and we're going to probably have a number of more athletes who are working with Ishmael in the same way that I work in the United States to head that pure performance team. I'm working with Ishmael to create leadership here in Mexico because we feel like this is such a great opportunity, both for the athletes of Mexico, but also for Shackley Mexico, as we've done this sort of relaunch down here, that we're hoping to have a number of athletes, so it won't just be one athlete in the next Olympics. We're hoping maybe 10, 15, 20 athletes. And that's how Shackley has been shared. And that's how we all, within Shackley, share Shackley. Is you have great experience and you pass it on to your friends. And my friends just happen to be Olympians. So, and so it's grown. It's a very organic, authentic story. It's a very true story. I mean, Ishmael's a personal friend of mine. We just, he called me, actually texted me the day he got into Duke. He said, I got into Duke, and he was so excited. And so these athletes actually use Shackley products. They actually work. And the reason we say that and the reason we talk about this so much is because if these are the products that are good enough for Olympic athletes, they're the products that you should feel comfortable taking to your friends and family and saying, this is a great product line. And it's interesting because we have another company who seems to be doing a presentation here tomorrow, and they don't have this. This is different for Shackley. We don't have big paid endorsers. We don't pay these athletes lots of money to say they like Shackley. They just like Shackley, and that's something that Shackley has that other companies don't. So anyway, if you want, I can take some questions, or I don't know what your schedule's like, but does anyone have any questions?
Any questions? Pues no, muy bien explicado.
Thank you. Yeah, and I look forward to great things happening here in Mexico. Working with your team down here and with Ishmael. Ishmael's committed to going back to the Olympics. Ishmael, I can't tell you how significant it is that a guy that's this smart has looked at the business of Shackley. Okay, this is a guy who's looked at the products of Shackley. I mean, do you think he knows what he's talking about when he says things?
Yes.
Okay, and he just got into one of the best business schools in the world, and he's looking at the business of Shackley and saying, that's also one of our best products. So, I hope we can all share this with our friends down here and grow this into a really big thing in Mexico. So, anyway, thank you.